Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. Today we're going to talk about 4 rooms that were given to me. I want to comment on some of the things that we see in the room. The first one is Dad's listening cigar room. So this is a room obviously for socializing, smoking cigars probably, and having a few drinks. I get it. But resolution is not the goal here. I don't want people to misconstrue these comments because we're a very high resolution company. That's our mission statement. Those are the glasses I wear constantly when I look at rooms. So this room is not about resolution. It's not about achieving the greatest resolution you can out of your system and your gear. It's more about background music. It's not a system where we set up, with one person, one listening position, 2 speakers, and the standard, triangle setup that we use for resolution. So we can see there's numerous pieces of furniture in the room, especially close to the speakers. Those are going to produce reflections. I would eliminate those 2 chairs immediately. Move them to the sides where the other chairs are. It will improve dramatically the presentation value of this whole room. So spurious reflections interfere with the direct energy from our loudspeakers. Remember, reflections are room sound. The straight line or direct energy from our speakers, that's the energy we want to reach our ears first before the reflected energy. And we can manage that. We can make that happen. We can lower the time signature of reflection through treatment. So we see here that we have the primary reflection treated, but we don't have any secondary or tertiary reflections treated. In fact, we have objects in those areas. The area of treatment, if you're after resolution, is on the sidewalls, is from the speakers to the listening position. Because there's 3 reflections, primary, secondary, and tertiary, that we have to be. So we've treated the primary in this situation, although probably not enough. But we have no secondary or tertiary treatment. So that's an issue. But that's probably not the goal of this room. But if you were after more resolution, that's what you would do. I would suspect that the reverb times are pretty high in this room due to all the hard surfaces. So a quick fix to that without interfering with the overall look of the room would be to treat the ceiling. So sound absorption placed on the ceiling would bring reverb times down to a point where I think, speech intelligibility would be improved dramatically in the room, and you'd have higher resolution and situations like that. You can improve the resolution of the room, and that would be a real unobtrusive way of doing it. So that would be the goal there. So let's take a look at another room. I think this room is called Bucket List. It's speakers, I think, that gear that the client has always wanted to get. So let's look at the picture of these large speakers and look how close they are to the ceiling. Okay, so setup's always an issue with big speakers. These speakers technically should be in a room that has much higher ceilings. I don't know how tall they are, but they look to be 7, 8 foot high. So you can see that there's very little distance between the speaker and the ceiling. So you're going to get a lot of reflections off the ceiling, and that's going to impact the resolution level of what you hear. Then we have a lot of low frequency drivers. Lots of low frequency energy. What do we got? 6 per side, 12 low frequency drivers in a room. That's a large room, but 12 seems to be a lot of energy for a room like this. And I don't see any low frequency management. So low frequency management across that front wall, we all know from our videos, is the area of highest pressure in a room. Would go a long way to reduce the impact of that low frequency pressure. Along the front wall, we have a lot of gear. which we all know creates lots of reflections. So the saving grace of this, this situation is, though, the gear is so large and producing so much energy that you might be able to overcome a lot of those situations by flooding the room with energy. But you're not going to obtain the resolution that you could get with increased ceiling height and a proper setup and some proper low frequency management on the front wall. Let's focus on those cabinets on the side. Never a good idea to have objects on the sidewall. At least in this case, they both look similar. So if you're going to air, it's best to air on both sides equally, and that's what's been done here. But in a resolution environment where you're seeking, the ultimate in resolution, you never want to have, that kind of situation. You always want to have treatment for the primary, secondary, and tertiary reflection. Let's move on to the next one. Here's my system, unchanged for 11 years. The first thing that jumps out about this is we have speakers that are really close to the boundary of surfaces of the room, the wall. And guess what? The wall is all glass. So there's two really bad errors being made here. Speakers close to a wall surface, and that wall surface is glass. It says the room it's in is awesome for acoustics. I just don't understand that. How it could be awesome with the front wall being glass, with unmanaged front wall pressures behind those speakers. Awesome would not be the word that I would use. This is, once again, not a room that's set up for resolution. It's more of a room that's, set up to display all the gear. And then we have hardwood floors, which increases reverberation time. And you have to remember that floor and ceiling reflections are critical if you're going to maximize the resolution of your gear. So you want to be very, very careful with the surface area treatment that you put. A rug would be good. If we could get a rug in there, that would be a wonderful fix here. Move those speakers out from the wall and generally avoid glass. Sound takes on the characteristics of the surface areas that it strikes. Strikes glass, you get glass sound. And I can't think of anyone in 50 years of doing this that wants glass sound. So stay away from glass. I mean, we're at the point now in our design processes that if the client wants glass in their room, we're going to go and steer away from the project and not even do it because we can't meet our mission statement. And then we can't help the client achieve his. So that's an issue. Here it looks like we have, here's my favorite listening room from my house. We call it Beethoven. Looks like we have two systems set up. Big room, great ceiling height. And of course, what do we have in the middle? Glass, a chandelier. I remember from doing trade shows and setting up our system in large rooms, and they always had this big chandelier, and I could never get a smooth frequency response out of the ceiling. And of course, the reason for that is the chandelier. I mean, that's a nightmare in terms of reflection, and the worst kind. And then to couple that, we have glass walls behind it with very sheer drapes, which aren't doing anything probably to minimize the impact of that reflection. Setup's proper, although we've got, in the one system, we've got the left channel right against the wall. And that can't be good. That's a phase situation, that needs to be addressed. So pull those speakers, you got a large enough room, pull those speakers out more into the room, get away from those glass walls, increase the density of the fabric. I know it's not going to work, but get rid of that chandelier and treat the ceiling. You could improve the resolution of this room 50, 60, 70% by just doing those simple things. It's obvious that the client's concerned about quality. The gear has good quality levels. setup is problematic, and the room could be improved dramatically with treatment. So there's a look at these 4 rooms and some observations that we have made. Hope this helps. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. We also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, so please do that because we offer special price discounts to only those on our newsletter. And then don't forget about our forum. We have started a forum on our own website where people ask questions, and I usually get a chance every couple of days to look at it. There's an interchange between people on the forum, and we'll give you real answers on a regular basis, so that'll help you. Thank you.